Hi, Space Cab. So I'm here with Peter, but what we're doing is an intro to, and this is a mandate, um, anomalous experiences, and today we have a ghost story with our friend Dave Merchant. Hey, Space Cab. Welcome. So, we're talking today, we're meeting another mandate, anomalous material. We're here with our friend Dave Merchant. He is not necessarily related to Natalie, but just saying.
I probably am some way, but I'm not. But I probably am.
Yes. So, David, you have a story for us.
I guess one story which happened in when would it be? It would have been in 2005 in a little town called um, a little small old fishing community called Herring Cove, just outside of the Spryfield community of Halifax, and it would be an apparition. I guess is the one way to say.
I love that word.
Yep,
I
it's an
love that
apparition.
word.
I'll use the Matthew Good song title,
Yes, please.
but that's what it was. It was in a Herring Cove is a wealthy little. It's not a suburb. It's like a little, like literally a 15 house fishing village where like the editor of the newspaper in Halifax lived and stuff like that. So uh, what it would have been known for is a few hundred years of fishing and accidents out in the water and that, where houses have the widow's peak where you go up and wait for your husband to come home and your family to come home from fishing. And
sometimes they don't.
yep, they don't. And it's not everyone, but some people.
Mhm.
And what would happen, that house was very old. And my ex-girlfriend's mother lived there with her new boyfriend because she had just gotten a divorce. But they lived there. And my ex-girlfriend's mom always said she would come home to like windows being opened.
Ooh.
And things like that. And her boyfriend, no, it's no big deal and it's nothing. And it could have been nothing because he had a teenage son that liked to smoke pot and
Sure.
He was pretty cool. He was like, he didn't give a shit. So he's probably smoking pot at home and open up the windows. Maybe. But I know my ex-girlfriend would tell me that when she stayed there, she could, there in one room, there was like a chair rail trim along the wall, and her mom would put like pictures on it. And she said she woke up in the middle of the night and the pictures would slide across. I don't know.
Oh.
But we used to stay there whenever her mom and her boyfriend, they were kind of wealthy. So they go off on these vacations and we'd get to stay there at the house.
Awesome.
And it was one night, I think it was like probably the third time we stayed there. And one night it just seemed a little bit off in the house. And she was doing laundry in the laundry room. And that was my time to get like peace of mind from her, to hide out, was to go to the washroom and lock the door.
Bless.
And like drink a beer and read a magazine.
Bless. You had to have a little quiet.
I don't think I'm giving away any secrets of partners on either side of any group. I think anybody listening to this who's in a relationship has done that before.
Certainement.
But she started banging on the door, and I could hear in her voice that she was nervous. And I said,
Mhm.
"What's up?" Like I'll be out in a second. When I left the washroom, she basically accosted me of, "Why were you standing in the doorway staring at me?" And it's like, I wasn't, because I'm in the washroom right next to you. And she said she was doing laundry. Her back would be to the door. If this is the laundry room and this is the washer, the door would be over here. and the washroom would be over here. She said I was staring at her from the doorway. She said she turned and saw me. I said it's impossible because I was in the washroom, but I could immediately when I stepped out, I could feel like there was something even different about the whole house. Like the whole main floor is just open, and something seemed off. And we both looked across um, through the living room, through the dining room to a living room, where we literally saw what appeared out of nowhere and walking wasn't like a heavenly body or anything, and nothing showed up other than the outline of steps of walking, and it was like back when we had before digital TV, when you had when you hit the input for the VCR and it was snow and you didn't have anything on the VCR,
Yes.
that old thing of snow, like then you didn't have that until like since the 1990s. But it was very clear that they were feet moving and just up to like just above the ankle and
Oh
then
my
to nothing.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
And it just looked like the snow from old television channels, and
Yeah.
just walked away and but in a path
Oh,
straight from, so the door, like the double door opening, you could just see these feet go. I called my parents in Toronto. She called her mom. They were in New York, and her mom's like, "I told you there's something here." Blah blah blah, and it was just
oh,
so it was. It's
oh.
two people seeing it. I called my parents in Toronto, and they're like, "Yeah,
Would they flip?
no, they believed it.
Did you guys sleep okay that night?
Yeah, slept fine.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not.
It didn't feel.
It's such a. It's almost like a silly experience. I can't explain it.
But you remembered it.
I remember it. I'll never
and you
forget it. I
both
know I saw it. I know it. I saw it. I know she saw it. I know
Right.
we weren't taking any drugs and we weren't drinking any alcohol that night
Wow.
because it was like a Wednesday night. I had to get up
And do
to
something.
go to Halifax. I mean, I had to get up at like 5 a.m. to get a ride into Halifax. Like it's. So I wasn't doing anything outlandish or crazy, and there's no fear in it. I know what I saw was not of a like an actual person, but probably something at some point.
Well, presumably where there are feet, you can assume that
Yeah, but I think
surely
somebody was
really?
was
only
somebody was a person at some point whose energy has dissipated
to that.
and they have an attachment to that house.
Yes.
And I think that's what it is, and it's just that. And I think I've tried to look things up, and you see a lot of it happening in a community like that, because
Okay.
you have like personal tragedies happening out in the water or that type of thing. I think, and it would be where you have a house might have had 5 generations of the family living in it. You might have had father, father and son, grandfather, uncle, and great grandfather, all
Multi-generational.
like that's it. Like there's nothing. Halifax, even if you look at the time of the Halifax explosion, it's not like Halifax was a big city where you can go to. When I was living there in 2003, 2004, 2005, Halifax wasn't. It's not like Toronto where you could just do whatever you want. Like when I lived there, there's no Sunday shopping. Like everything's shut down. It was like,
Yes.
So.
Oh gosh, it's been a long time.
But yeah, it's just one of those type of experiences, I guess. Not fearful in the end. Slept perfectly fine at night. Never saw anything else. Never had that feeling in that house again. Been back in that house many times. Never had that moment or anything. So,
let's see. Are you still pals with the ex?
Oh no, God no.
Oh dear,
God, no,
that's
a whole other
fine.
story.
That's fine.
It's almost like a supernatural story as well, on how your personality can change after being in a relationship, and how your confidence can be killed off, and all those type of things. But no, it's actually the ghost was a better experience than that at times. So.
Let's see.
But yeah,
okay.
I've spoken to. I know my mom told me a story about what happened when she was a kid, when she would be about 8 or 9, and a neighbor had died, a few weeks before, because she
Okay.
grew up in Mimico, Ontario, and she went out with her parents someplace, and they went to the car that's parked in the driveway, and they saw one of the neighbors, and they said, "Oh, hello, Mister Feathers, we'll call him." And they got in the car and they drove away. He was out watering the lawn, and then as they're a block away, they realized, well, didn't Mister Feathers die 2 weeks ago? And yeah, but
No
but they saw him there, and like
way.
you know,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
so they've seen that, and it's
Right.
like my mom's not crazy. My mom doesn't have
No, no.
anything
Right.
like that. But I think there's numerous people who've had that experience, and the question would be: is there a gas leak in the place you're living,
Right.
and
Right.
you don't know
Right.
about it, and you're affected slightly, like in the experience in Heron Cove? That's like 100-year-old house. Maybe there's something. Maybe radon from the basement's coming upstairs. I don't know. I don't know what radon
Right.
does to you. I mean,
Nor do
it's
I.
everywhere, and everybody you have to have
Oh, you
protection
have to
against.
have. Okay.
It's naturally in everybody's basement on some level, so you have to have you can have problems with that. But
Jeeps.
that would if it was something like that, it would be the worst high because you're never high.
Right.
So it would be a
You're
total
just
rip off.
yeah. It's
Be,
just downer
it's not
time. It's
like
only
yeah.
a silent killer.
Yeah, it's
style.
not. It's not. It's just making you see different things, but you don't get
Oh.
that eerie
Oh,
feeling.
you do see things?
I don't know. Maybe
Oh,
it's that.
okay. Okay. Why? Was that kind of
Well,
an attack people use?
no, my feeling is
Mm.
there should be some way to explain it, and the way that I can explain it, like literally seeing what looked like it would have been a human being, but it was literally only up to the ankle, like to the ankles, and then disappeared into nothing,
Mm.
type of thing. There was no flames, there was no there was no light or anything. It's not like the movies. There
Right.
must be some way to explain it, and my feeling is it's just energy. We're all made up of energy. When we die, we go into the ground, and the worms and other bugs feed off of us to create everything else, right? So like
Exactly.
we drive, like everybody has, like your cars are mostly now are still fueled by
Yes.
old dinosaurs,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
So there must be something.
Were
I'm not trying to get spiritual.
well,
I'm not that, but there must be something to energy that we don't that we don't understand quite yet.
I absolutely agree with that.
So
Yes, energy.
it didn't Joni Mitchell say we're stardust?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
that's what we are. We're all
Thank you for
from
bringing
that.
Joni into
Yeah,
this.
well,
Oh my gosh. It's just-
no,
wow.
I just feel I don't. Nothing is so unexplainable, in my opinion.
Hmm.
I don't think I'm not. That's just one feeling I have. There's usually answers to things.
I think it's been said before that spirits do get attached to things and
Yes.
houses, and people do see. And when people die, often or you'll have a dream about them, or
Uh,
maybe
yeah.
you see them,
No,
and maybe they're a neighbor.
my father died when I was 4.5, and my stepbrother, my mom got remarried like not too long after. My stepfather died when I was 29. My stepbrother died when I was 19.
Oh.
I remember when I was 10, I had a very vivid dream, and that's just a dream. So I understand it. Um, this would be just a dream. So I understand that it might not be an event, but it was a very specific dream of being back in my old area of Scarborough, which would have been when I was like up to about 4.5 years old, which would have been Ellesmere Midland, which there's a little subdivision. And then on the other side of Midland, it's just, it's just like a commercial area. Everything's
Right.
And it was just walking down the commercial area and knowing the houses on the other side is my neighborhood. And I just walked in to like a garage with like an open door, and there was I'm like 10, and there was my birth father working at a work table. He turned to me and he came down and patted me on the head and said, "Don't worry, everything's going to be okay."
Come on.
But that might just, I don't know how
Well,
reasons for dreams can be the food you ate and stuff like that. I'm not saying that's an experience, but for me, I've used that as an experience my whole life, thinking no matter what goes on, it's okay. There's people that care about you. It's not necessarily that
yes.
he gave up on me, and it's not even saying that I should think about my birth father before my stepfather, because my stepfather was my father.
Yes, I
He raised me,
understand.
and he was wonderful and much better, much more of a father than my stepfather, than
Y-
my birth father was. So he was around more than my birth father was.
Right.
But it's that I put down as an experience. But
Mm.
you can argue that. But
I don't argue with my most vivid dreams, and ones that really speak to me. I keep them, and they do mean something. I think that this is a trouble. We society we don't we try to be too newspaper, work, home, telly,
we're so
but
caught
there's
up
more.
we're so caught up with the trappings of everything we have at our fingertips and what we see and smell and taste today
Yes.
and here now. And
Yes.
there's yeah, we don't accept new things or different things at times. It's in a way just keeping up with the Joneses, almost like
It is
you're striving for that, the attainment of, but
in
all
the
that,
midst of a lot of disappointing reality. We've
usually,
got
well, especially these days,
holy
these days it feels,
goodness.
to me it feels right now. I didn't think about it until a couple years ago. Somebody said to me, who I think is a very smart person, said the U.S. is on their way to
Mm,
another civil war,
mm,
and like it's almost
big
destined to
time.
happen.
Mm.
And I can see here now today in Canada where,
What's his name? Polyev?
yeah,
Polver?
Polyev, Pierre
Polyev?
Polyev, yes.
Wow.
But I think Canada is moving
Is
towards that same path
definitely.
where it's a choice of what we're doing now. It, like in terms of politics, some people feel what's going on now is destroying Canada. Like it's
Yes.
not Canada anymore, and I don't think that's true. But
No. Like Canada, and I want it to be a happy place. And we make excellent choices in Canada, actually, about some things. And oh, this one you'll like, Colin. So, what's his name? Mellon. Christopher Mellon? Is it? Sounds like a long name. There's been a lot of Christophers. He's from a rich family. He worked for fucking military.
Melon Nusk,
No.
not Melon Nusk. No, no,
No,
I
no,
don't.
no.
Melon
Mellon is the last
blind,
name. Ha!
blind melon,
blind
No,
something.
something like
negative,
that. I don't
negative.
know.
No, no. I'm sorry I don't have this at hand. But anyway, he has become an outspoken, let's open up and talk about UAPs, blah, blah, blah. And he said, "Hey, Canada, we'll fund you guys." Canada said, "Yeah, okay, we'll do Sky Canada." And then when Mellon found out that they only wanted to do it on a scientific research style without any defense put
Mm-hmm.
in, and then he took the money out and said, "Sorry." Colin, you're still muted, but
Okay,
anyway. All right then.
no, I'm not muted. I don't know what to say because I don't know who Mister Melon is.
All right then. Well, we'll revisit
Well,
this one day later.
UAPs. It's very interesting that they changed the term from UFOs
Oh
to
yes.
UAPs.
What are you feeling about it?
I know, like you're talking about Canada.
Hmm.
We did have Nova Scotia had the big experience, right? The Shag Harbor
Yes.
experience, and I've never seen a UFO. Once I did see I lived in Fort McMurray, so I've seen like the Northern Lights, and there's two types of Northern Lights, I think,
Okay,
and
that's right.
I didn't see the special one
Okay,
that
whatever.
everybody wants. I saw the one where it's like a whole bunch of like sharp lines, and that it's still very interesting.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it was beautiful. But once in Thornhill, when I was out walking around one night, I'd be in my early 20s, did see it looked like there was a star and then it went one way, another
Yes.
way, and disappeared.
Okay,
It was
that's
so far away, but I don't know.
wow. In Thornhill.
I know, but
That's where I come from.
it wasn't close. It was far. It was like a star, right? It was like a set
But that
star that
yes,
moved
yes.
in two different directions. But there's also the tough thing with it is like I know that thing I saw must have been something special. I'm not saying that UFOs are here now. Because I don't want to go into that type of thing because it could be true, could not be true. I have no understanding of that. But
Fair.
it's so tough with UFOs or UAPs
Yes.
because we're seeing it from like Earth within an atmosphere, which is different.
Well, it's yes.
Like everything like our sunrise isn't
Yes.
like it's. If we didn't have our atmosphere, our sunrise would be like the moon. It would just be completely bright. It's like it's either bright or darkness.
Yes.
But we have our atmosphere, so we get things like the northern
Filters
lights,
and colors and yes.
But how a star can move one direction, another thing.
Yeah.
That might not be explainable unless there's a certain military vehicle. We're close to the U.S. They have lots of military
Indeed,
vehicles.
they do.
It was in the south. Would be the south
There
direction.
are sightings in Canada all the time.
And there's sightings by pilots, I'm quite sure.
Yes, and yes.
And the what I like about the UAP thing is that designation. It's basically the military saying that they get reports of things and they're looking at these reports and it's what they can't identify. So it might be other military forces like Russia or China, which have budgets for military. I don't think it's Russia because they can't make anything of their military, but China can make very special things that are different. So
that's true. I mean, but can they? Okay, can they do what a UAP can do?
Probably not.
Yeah,
but we're in the age now of like drones being used in wars, which we never would have thought of before. That's almost like
I guess so.
We had that weather. Well, the weather balloon.
China
plane
shooting down. That was all over Canada, but then and US yes.
But that's more like to
but
me.
Then they
to me, that's something like somebody.
It's always military.
That was somebody's idea, and kind of looked very foolish in the end. But
they stopped talking about it.
Yeah,
fast too. But Canada shut stuff down as well during that.
Yeah, I think it happens. I think if you look at UFOs outside of Hollywood films, right, which are very interesting, and outside of that whole idea of War of the Worlds, like the book, even if you look at it, my feeling with UFOs, if they could travel from another part of the galaxy where we don't know that they live and get here, they're probably erasing our brains. And I've done it several times, and maybe they're not even. It's the point of discovery is it's not even necessary anymore, and it's maybe if there is that type of species, they're a species that is completely plugged in electronically and living forever, almost like into a computer system constantly for eternal life, and it's. I don't know. It's difficult, but I'm sure there's something.
Do you think there are some people on planet Earth that might know something more than we do?
I think it's funny because Trump, when he was first elected in 2016, said that he got to look at the file and stuff, and he didn't say anything else, but he's like, yeah, I wanted to look at that. And I'm sure there's something. I think there's probably some people here who are aliens. I had an
Yeah.
incredibly vivid dream when I was a kid. It was like this amazing.
Here we go.
Yeah, it was an amazing dream where everything was normal, and I was. It would be started off traveling back to my house with my parents, and I'm in the back seat. And they turned and said, "You're one of us," and pulled their faces off in the whole like V type of thing.
Did they?
Yep. And then I'd wake up in the middle of the night. In the dream, I'd wake up in the middle of the night instead of a chandelier. It's like a clock counting backwards, like red digital numbers going backwards. And you're one of us. And then I at the next point of the dream, I woke up, and across the street, there's a spaceship in the field behind the houses, and I charged across, and then I went and saved people because they were enslaving all the humans. And then I told people that they're all cheering for me, but I said I was one of the aliens.
This is extraordinary.
But maybe I was like 11. I don't know. Maybe I am an alien.
I suspect there might have been contact there, friend. Oh, were they in cages?
Yeah, they were locked in like a prison in there. Like,
have you heard about Dulcie?
No, it's tough to say because when I was a kid and I saw a movie, not Alien, but Aliens. When I saw Aliens, and that completely frightened me. So all those type of things, if I ever ran into the stuff, but I don't know. I'm sure it would be. I don't think there's any astrophysicist who would say that 100% there's no life outside of this planet. There's life on this planet because of an atmosphere and how close we are to the sun, and it breeds life forms like us and other mammals. And there's probably another planet out there that is within that type of zone and has an atmosphere.
USOs.
Yeah, and it might breed something. It might not be like us, but that's where you don't want to go into Hollywood and say it's like green blood or anything like that. But it must be something. Maybe bacteria is the alien. I don't know. There's ideas from what I've read, there's ideas by some people that life on Earth originally started in the clouds of Venus at one point, and I don't know. Maybe in 2 billion years, when the sun, I think, what's the point when the sun gets so big it's going to actually destroy Earth? Well, maybe those other planets will have the life or something, and look back at that time. That must have started at some point there. I don't know. Maybe the sun was smaller 10 billion years ago, so life on Mercury existed, or life on Venus existed, and they hightailed it out. I don't know. I'm sure there's something. I wouldn't say to somebody if they said they saw a UFO today, I wouldn't say that they were crazy. My brother, him and his friends, they were out and they came back one night and they said that there was a UFO and it was coming down on that they're driving and they could see it and it was coming down by their car and all that.
On.
But my stepbrother did have like to drink a lot and had a fair bit of drug problems. But there's that.
But I mean,
but my father also said, sitting in the kitchen, looking out the window, said he saw something.
Oh my gosh!
Out in the sky, and that can happen to anybody. So I know.
Yes.
I know what I saw in terms of the ghost, because I'll call it that. I know I saw that, and I know I had seen something move in the sky in a way that's
strange.
Not like a shooting star. I've seen a shooting star. It's like one direction.
Yes.
It's not. It doesn't
making right angles.
It doesn't make a 90-degree turn and then another 45-degree turn and then disappear.
Yeah, like instantly gone.
Something.
Yeah, it's not a glitch.
Yeah, no,
it's not a sky glitch.
It's who knows? Who knows? Maybe aliens landed a long time ago and are among us today. I don't know.
Oh, I think so, definitely.
Maybe it could be.
Oh, okay.
It could be sci-fi. I thought the book of 2001, A Space Odyssey, was a more interesting take on
than the film.
Yeah,
Okay,
when I read the
sorry.
book last year, I
Yes.
thought the idea of it that the aliens placed alien life forms
Yeah.
placed a monolith on
Yeah.
Earth to make apes rise up to be humans,
Hmm.
and they put at another point it would work out that by the time humans get to the moon and they find something buried on the moon, they can dig it out, which would be it would work as like a radio point to the in the book it was to the moon of Saturn, and then it was to go out there, and that led to it led to like a hyperloop. It led to like what they call like almost like a wormhole
Yes.
that was created by this alien species. But
Yes.
the alien species at that point was just in a programmed ship. It was not existing anymore. So that's why. Who knows? I don't know.
Yes. Gosh, that is terrible. Interesting. Fuck,
But
I love that.
there will be, when you think about it. I hope we're not totally off topic.
I don't
at
think
all.
you can be in
Okay,
space
I
cat.
hope we're totally not off topic. We're gonna have an organized mission to Mars. There's also
Yes.
going to be like 10 people who are going to leave Earth
Yep.
forever to go in.
Yep. Be the beginning.
Yeah, and start on Mars.
Start.
It's going to be the greatest.
Yeah.
It's going to be like
And they're trying to figure out how to have babies and
well, it's going to
stuff,
happen.
yeah.
It's going to first of all, what's going to happen?
Mm.
It's going to be the best. It's going to be like the Truman Show. It's going to
Yes.
be a top-rated show. It's going to be on one channel all the time.
Awesome, and I'm gonna watch it
And another thing,
religiously.
yes, and another thing, it will be pornography for us because we're going to watch them do it there.
Yes.
The first, going back to like the sci-fi book Stranger in a Strange Land, the first person born on Mars is going to be an alien human. It's going to be a Martian.
Right. It will be Martian.
That's
oh my
it.
gosh! Obviously.
Yeah, because it's not an Earthling.
No.
It's a human being, but that's what it's going to be. If that person traveled, like, lived on Mars for 15 years
Would you
and
do it?
traveled back,
Yeah.
not a chance.
No?
Not a chance.
Really?
No.
Colin, would you do that? Colin, would you
Go.
live to
Yes,
Mars
I'd go to Mars. Yeah, sure.
and not come back? They're only offering
Yeah.
one-way tickets at this point.
Yeah, I know. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I think we talked about that.
I would take a construction job on the moon because
Yes.
you get back.
You feel coming back again.
Yeah,
yes.
but you go to the moon and work for like 6 months. You
Right.
Get paid like
Good money.
$30 billion.
I could make great money on the moon. I'd go back.
Yeah, come back.
It's a bit spooky
Well, that's what it is.
sometimes.
I think. Well, the whole thing is the people when they end up living on like that first the people doing the colony thing on Mars.
Yes.
Your body's going to change automatically
Yes.
to the because of
Yeah, and your
due to the
baby will be
atmosphere
different.
and the
You are
gravity.
right.
And but it's still human, right? Because you take the same spleen. If they needed a liver
Right.
transplant,
Right.
you just give them part of your liver, right? So it's the same biochemistry. It's just your bones are less dense. You would be shorter,
Right.
right? Because you have to think of the.
Yes, of course.
But it's what I've read about it, and it's what's going to happen anyways.
Mm.
Is they're creating machines to go and build the habitat first.
Correct.
So it's going to be dropped, and it's just going to work as robots and build it, and they're going to build it out of what Mars is made out of.
Wow.
So and it's like with the moon, when they build the base on the moon, it will be shipping pieces to the moon, modular, that fits there, and you just add your tunnel to it.
Right.
And anything else would be made out of like the moon dust,
Product.
right? Like
Yeah.
it would be a new form of concrete. It's like think
Yeah.
of how we made Portland cement. Portland cement was made to
I
make
told
that was
you
made
this.
to make the Colosseum. So they figured out how to mix
wow.
sand and the concrete and the water to get that type of thing.
It's a very yes.
So
Okay.
So with moon
yes.
dust, which is
Mhm.
very harsh, it's a much harsher material aggregate. They will figure out some way to build things there, and then we'll be there.
Mhm.
I think.
Mhm.
I think
But okay.
it would be a power source, a solar power source. And
Yes.
that comes into the idea of it's like there'll be like a tunnel of a shipping lane almost. That's
Yeah.
like Jeff Bezos' idea of just to have everything done
Definitely.
from, you get your power from the moon back to Earth, and then people do less. So
Definitely, they're all over this. What I've heard
Mhm.
is it's Musk, Bezos, and Virgin Mobile. What's his name? God damn it! Damn it!
I forget
Oh,
his name too.
oh
I know
gosh.
Richard Branson.
Yes, and that they are all going to Mars to make this happen.
Well, Elon Musk wants to
But-
move to Mars.
Yeah.
He wants to be part of that. I think what will happen as well with that little colony on Mars, somebody will just start killing the others. I think it'll be that. Because how are you going to get caught? What are you going to do? You're only like,
Gosh,
there's
that
only
turned
10
so dark.
Well, there's 10 people there.
And
right?
the Earth's
No,
going to be
don't
way
say-
better when all those
When-
guys go to Mars.
Oh.
We're just okay.
Yeah,
Gonna
then
be
we're
great.
talking. Then we're talking.
Yeah,
yes.
it's going to be easy. Like, no, that's what
Get
I said.
rid. Let them go.
No, there's going to be,
Um,
if you move 10 people to Mars,
Yes.
there's going to be
What's
people,
going to be happening?
they're going to do pornography for us. But there's
Okay.
also somebody who's going to who's just going to lose it and realize,
Yes.
I can kill 5 people.
And nobody can get
And
me.
no
What are you
one
gonna
can do
do?
anything. Yeah.
Oh, come and get me,
There's
coppers!
no
Can't get me.
Exactly. There's nothing It'll be like a reality TV show. It'll go on for a while, and then until they get the ship over there to
Oh boy!
get the person
Pick
out.
up the
But no, but
body.
that happened. Well,
Interesting.
50,000 years ago. or
Okay.
200,000 years ago, when we were living in caves, there was somebody going around and just being a serial killer. It's nothing new. It's not like we invented it last week.
Gosh.
No, but it's like there was a Ted Bundy
Yes.
in like the 1500s.
Oh man.
They
yes,
were
there
leaders
was.
of the government.
Yes, they were. Oh my
look at
gosh.
Caligula.
Yeah.
It was like
That
he was
badass.
going out through the town and just stabbing people to death. And he was the emperor, for crying out loud. He didn't have to go like in a secret persona and kill people. He could just have people killed. He was the
But he
emperor.
just sort of enjoyed it. He was a hands-on
It's
style.
it's a
Psycho. So that was fascinating, Space Gab. And now, after we've gone towards ghostly experiences, Peter and I, we're coming up with a new name for Peter. I like to call him Chewy. We are preparing a primer for Canada Land to understand abductions. Okay, until Monday.